Hello, thanks for joining us on Nationwide. I'm Ruth Aguela. You can catch us live on our website, is nta.ng/live, and all other of our social media handles displayed on the screen. Let's begin by telling you that President Muhammadu Buhari is in Washington, D.C. ahead of the United States Africa Leaders Summit. State House correspondent Adam Musambo reports that the summit is being convened by President Joe Biden, begins Tuesday.
President Muhammadu Buhari, who arrived Joint Base Andrews Airport, Maryland, about 6:30 Sunday evening, a befitting welcome by top United States and Nigerian government officials. He is expected to join his counterparts from Africa and the United States at the Leadership Summit organized by the Biden administration to demonstrate its enduring commitment to Africa. It also underscores the importance of the United States strengthening cooperation with Africa on global priorities and shared vision for the future.
It's often said that Africa is the continent of the future. We have a huge population and huge potentials. Nobody wants to be United States, obviously, by President Biden, by calling this summit, the vision jointly formulated by Africa that is beneficial to the two sides, so that together we march forward. President is given a keynote speech on the matter of just energy transition. So it's important that Nigeria uses this very big platform, what we want, especially in terms of the use of energy. And we're also helped by the fact that the big nations of the world, America and Europe, they are also revising, their own opposition to gas in relation to its effect on, climate change. I think so. A lot of revisionism. And this is a meeting that would possibly be talking about everything under the sun. Good governance, human rights, climate change, food security, civil society. So let's be there. Let's talk about it.
President Buhari is also at the United States Business and Investment Forum, during which communities are expected to sign.
Around it is CCA and Nigeria alone, bringing businesses to promote trade, investment, and industrialization. We are the biggest economy on the continent in terms of population. We are number one. Yes, we are perhaps among the last to sign on the free trade agreement, AFCTA area on the continent. However, we just have to plan in a way that it is most beneficial for our own people, for our local industries, so that people don't come from other places, and take advantage of it. It's the biggest free trade, area anywhere in the world. So what it means is that as we enhance production, industrialization in our own country, we will take far more advantage, reaching well beyond the boundaries of our own country and taking the entire continent of Africa as a common market, beneficial to ourselves.
The president is being accompanied on the visit by Governor Bala Muhammad of Bauchi State and his Kwara State counterpart Abdul Rahman Abdulrazak and several ministers. From Washington, D.C., Adam Musambo, NTA News.
Back home, the federal government has condemned a report by the international news agency alleging that Nigerian military is running a systematic and illegal abortion in the northeast. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed made the condemnation at the PMB scorecard series in Abuja. Let's hear the details from Anthony Forson.
I would like to once again alert the nation to the dangers posed by fake news and disinformation.
Recalling earlier warnings about the danger fake news and disinformation poses to the corporate existence of the country, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has consistently warned about the phenomenon. The latest is a report by an international news agency claiming that the secret systemic abortion program in the area is aimed at eliminating the children of insurgents and the belief that they are predestined by the blood in their veins to one day take up arms against Nigerian government.
This story also claimed that 10,000 such abortions have been carried out from 2013 to date on women and girls. The news agency made this grave allegation without a scintilla of evidence, citing only anonymous sources and the reported review of phantom documents. The agency claimed that its investigation was based on interviews with 3 women and girls. Can you imagine?
While condemning the report, Lai Mohammed noted that the federal government rejects the accusation and describes it as a scary fake news.
The federal government hereby categorically states that there is no secret, systematic, and illegal abortion program being run by our military in the northeast or anywhere across the country. We also hereby reject the accusation of running an abortion program leveled at our military. We state categorically that this story is a scary instance of fake news and disinformation combined.
The minister summed the federal government's position this way.
What is the motive of this news agency and the usual suspects who have latched onto this story? Why is this so-called investigation coming at a time when our heroic men and women uniform have been recording successes after successes, decimating the terrorists, rescuing abducted persons, and receiving hundreds of thousands of terrorists who have surrendered?
In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
State houses of assembly in the country have been challenged to deepen their oversight on expenditure at the sub-national levels, especially to promote development and eradicate poverty at the grassroots. Guest on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria also urged citizens to follow up and question government at all levels on development issues and projects. Lydia Sampson reports.
The whole idea of having different tiers of government is to bring development closer to the people. Ironically, guest on Good Morning Nigeria noted that the impact of state and local governments is yet to be felt in relation to development across critical sectors.
These things that have to do with redevelopment that will impact on the lives of the people at the subnational level and the local government level, they are in the concurrent list. So anybody that wants to really, tap into or engineer the process of development in their states, they have the latitude to do that. So there's no point of trying to hide behind, this idea or this misconception or misperception, trying to deceive Nigerians that the center is too powerful. That is why they cannot do anything at the state and local government level.
The guests decried the ostentatious disappointment of some governors at the expense of the masses and called for a reappraisal of leadership selection processes in order to get the right people into office.
It is a recipe for a serious crisis if we're not careful in the near future. Debts, humongous debts are being incurred by these state governors, and we are largely sentencing our unborn children to slavery because of these debts. As at the last time I checked, state governors in Nigeria are owing close to about 5 to 6 trillion naira.
Development means putting in place what the environment and people need in order to keep improving themselves and the quality of living. So at the level of values, that's the philosophical foundation for development, that these are human values.
They cautioned against reckless borrowing by subnational entities, which they describe as a recipe for disaster if not well utilized. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
Nigeria targets 2030 to achieve 30% renewable energy mix, and the conversation continues among industry players on roadmap for successful implementation of Agenda 30-30-30. Federal government latest engagement with industry players and civil societies is to bring them up to speed on the level of implementation of renewable energy roadmap, which it says is on course. Minister of Power Abubakar Aliyu, represented at the roundtable, says interventions in solar home systems and mini-grids in communities demonstrate government's commitment to diversify energy sources and reduce emissions.
Or on creating the right enabling environment for private investment, particularly as regards projects that will support our long-term strategic goals and commitments to sustainable power supply and energy sources with less risk of greenhouse emission and credentials such as renewable energy and efficient gas power plants.
They are generating close to 5,000 megawatts of electricity, but distribution is even less than. So which means there's generation power that is generated that is lying fallow. What is responsible for it? What's the right of a consumer? Metering. So we need to begin to review most of these things, and the only way we can review them is to begin to, as civil society, have an accountability forum.
The Central Bank of Nigeria says it has so far disbursed 9.714 trillion naira across 7 key sectors of the economy. Leah Katumba Batunde was at the Development Finance Retreat of the bank, where efforts to mitigate the coronavirus pandemic was x-rayed.
The coronavirus pandemic and its effects may have waned drastically, but it still lingers as the global supply chains continue to feel the bite of the Russia-Ukraine war amid other global shocks. The Central Bank of Nigeria says it has injected close to 10 trillion naira to key sectors that include manufacturing and industry, energy and infrastructure, agriculture, services, MSMEs, export and health.
It is very clear in my mind that prosperity will judge us for all actions taken to bridge the gap through our interventions, which are aimed at spurring economic activities, scaling up diversification of the production base, and enabling infrastructure development in Nigeria.
Let's remember that the path to sustainable development and the path to inclusion is not one that will be easy. But we've shown and we've demonstrated that we can work together. We can be committed through concerted effort, through collaboration, and more importantly, through our own sense of patriotism.
The bulk of the funds disbursed went to the private sector and subnationals. It was an opportunity to assess the development finance initiatives and look deeper into enhancing food security in Nigeria.
The subnationals indeed get a lot of support from the CBN in trying to fulfill our campaign promises of job creation, livelihood improvement.
What we're doing is not just for us today, it's for even our future and the future of our country.
One, this is hardly any comfort over the rising prices of food.
Leah Katumba Batunde there reporting. Minister of Mines and Steel Development Olamilekun Adegbite says the only way to overcome the challenge of unemployment and address squarely the pending population explosion in Nigeria is to expand the skills training industry in the country. Olamileko Adegbite gave the advice while presenting starter packs to beneficiaries of the second batch of the federal government World Bank Mine Diver program on gemstones training for youth across the country. He notes that seeking for jobs only in the public sector is not feasible anymore to accommodate all, but private sector participation and aggressive skills hunting by youths is the way out.
At the rates which our population is growing, the era of office job, everybody sitting down, 30 days make a pay, that is over in Nigeria. I can say that clearly. That era is over. We need to encourage skills. We need to encourage handcrafts. We need to encourage entrepreneurs. And that is the way a nation can be built. If everybody sits down idle in an office and I wait 30 days to make a pay, our productivity goes to zero, which is what has brought us to this impasse where Nigeria is today. We import virtually everything, things that we could make ourselves.
And go to buy suits, you find Nigerian women always there buying their gold. Now they won't carry our scarce foreign reserve to buy gold. It's import substitution. These are many economic things that you are creating at this moment.
So that after this training, we've been equipped with world-class training to go out there and train other people in our different states so that we can expand the knowledge of jewelry, design and manufacture, and with that, other people can join.
The third batch of the gemstones training comes up in the first quarter of 2023. Personnel of the Imo State Police Command has successfully repelled an attack on the INEC headquarters in Imo State. Reports from NTA Owerri office indicate that the spokesman of the Imo State Command of the police force confirms the attack. The attempted attack took place in the early hours of Monday, 12th December 2022. Arms and undetonated bombs were recovered during the process. And ahead of the 2023 general elections, the International Press Center and the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) are engaging stakeholders on how to curb fake news. The essence of the gathering is to educate media practitioners on the need to prepare fact check before publishing and the laws guiding election coverage.
As we review the dangers emanating from this new world as the elections come, we should always remember the very high capacity that exists in this country for manipulation, for producing dangerous speech.
That post-election violence is often triggered through hate speeches and spreading of fake news during political campaigns and through social media platforms by opposing candidates and political parties. In the run-up to the 2023 general election, inciting the population through hate speech and purveyance must be condemned by all and sundry. The political elite must be made to play the game according to the rules and avoid intemperate speeches and statements that are capable of inciting violence.
The fact-checking of claims by politicians under the ongoing monitoring of media coverage of the 2023 elections, the establishment of a fact-checking unit in IPC's news portal and media resource, the Nigerian Democratic Report, the empowerment of citizens with the knowledge to detect fake news, etc., and the other activities by IPC geared towards sanitizing the electoral information space.
All right, let's pause from this end because we're heading to Lagos to join Michael to bring us some more reports.
Timely intervention of the Customs Strike Force Team A led to the arrest of a person in possession of 40 kilograms of cannabis sativa. But the positive the union is taking into the new year is growing revenue collected from January till date by 32% when compared with 2021. The coordinator of the team, Mohammed Sani Yusuf, promised that such efforts will be sustained until there is no hiding place for smugglers.
Remain resolute.
The Customs Strike Force Team A has a template which ensures that every officer along the borderline must intensify surveillance that could lead to the seizure of questionable items. These wraps of cannabis sativa are products of such marching order. But what makes the seizure special is not by the volume, but the manner of concealment in which every compartment under the seat, the door cover and driver's side were loaded with cannabis.
Retail parking, where it's supposed to be parking them. For resale. Because, yes, for resale. It's taking them to the east. So at the end of the day, what role will this play? At the end of the day, killing innocent people.
Another case of illegal trade in wildlife involving 376.4 kilograms of pangolin scales was promptly terminated by the Customs Strike Force Team A after an intelligence report traced the storage spot to a market in Ekwe.
We have been monitoring this for a long time. Eventually, when we now got a reasonable number, we now went to bust through the syndicate. In fact, an old man of about 70 was also involved with a son, and we just rounded them up.
These 100 cartons of red wine are valued at 5 million naira, but the inability of the importer to provide the invoice, claiming they were imported 10 years ago, raised suspicion and therefore seized. Between October and November this year, the Customs Strike Force Team A intercepted goods with duty-paid value of more than 1 billion naira, while a total sum of 537 million naira was collected through underpayments and wrong classification. In Lagos, with an eye out to further enhance civil-military relations, the Western Naval Command has organized a free medical outreach aimed at touching the lives of its host communities. Adinita will report that Arumo, a settlement in Ajegunle Apapa area of Lagos State, is a benefiting community.
The medical outreach saw a large turnout of residents of Arumo community in Ajegunle Apapa area who are eager to benefit from medical services including HIV counseling, sugar tests, and free drug distribution. Flagging of the medical outreach, the Flag Officer Commanding Western Naval Command, Rear Admiral Yakubu Wambai, represented by the Command Administration Officer, said the community was chosen for its social and economic relevance to national development, as well as for being in peaceful coexistence with the Nigerian Navy. He noted that the Nigerian Navy is intentional about its corporate social responsibilities and will always seek to impact its host communities positively.
It is a continuous activity. This one is just one of the ones we do for this United season to wish them well and appreciate them for hosting us. So what we'll be expecting that we'll do it free, and there's hopefully another one that will come from another hospital, though it may not be this community.
Grateful for the gesture, beneficiaries applauded the Nigerian Navy for going beyond the call of duty with various impactful interventions. In Lagos, Adeni Itaiwo, NTA News.
Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Time for some messages, saying when we return, we head straight to Kaduna, where Amina is standing by. Please stay.
Welcome to Kaduna Network Center. Welcome to Nigerian Air Force has placed premium on building capacity of its medical staff to equip them with modern know-how to perform their tasks efficiently. Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Oladayo Amao said this has become imperative in view of high demand of their services during operations. Haruna Mohammed reports that the Chief of Air Staff was speaking at the maiden graduation and induction of the Nigerian Air Force College of Nursing Sciences in Kaduna.
The induction of 30 nurses are certified by the Council of Nursing and Midwifery by the Nigerian Air Force College of Nursing Sciences is part of the ongoing effort to upgrade and reposition medical personnel to provide excellent services. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Olade Amao, noted with satisfaction the role of medical personnel among officers and men of the Nigerian Air Force, which he has necessitated training and retraining of medical staff to up their game.
The graduates will bring the experiences, skills, and knowledge acquired during their training at the college to bear on the Nigerian Air Force medical services in order to boost our overall Nigerian Air Force operations.
Aeromedical evacuation is one of our key competencies. So we have an air mobile first aid unit where we are going to take these nurses to undergo training for 6 weeks to make them aeromedical emergency technicians. Now they can be easily deployed in any area of conflict to carry out aeromedical evacuation.
We urge those inducted to put their very best in the discharge of their professional responsibilities. Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
Federal government has rolled out economic stimulus to 56 nomadic communities to engage them in profitable ventures as a strategy to keep youths off social vices. The program, designed by the National Commission for Nomadic Education, targeted school dropouts among Fulani nomads. Again, Haruna Mohammed has more.
The package is a skills acquisition program with 56 youths drawn from 7 states as beneficiaries. They took part in 3-day vocational training to acquire modern entrepreneurship skills, expected to make them employers of labor.
Also, I stand the chance to profit from solving problems like earning little incomes which can help to sustain me or my friends and my family for a while.
We learn several skills that can help us to be self-reliant and reduce over-dependence on others.
The strategy is to complement federal government policy on lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty.
When you give them skills, they'll be able to feed their family, they'll be able to create wealth in the society, and they will able to, when they go now, they will go and replicate whatever they learned in this place in their society, and thereby creating wealth.
And the skills are essential to national development, because if people can provide little services in their communities, it will help. And those services will also drive the economy of individual families.
The Commission pledged to explore more avenues to engage Fulani nomads with a view to reducing restiveness among them and also enhance their economic fortunes. Suleiman Rigachikun, NTA News.
The report was from Suleiman Rigachikun. And that's it from here. It's back to Ruth in Abuja.
Thank you, Amina. Stakeholders in the education sector say stiffer punishment must be meted on culprits of examination malpractice to curb the menace. They stated this at a one-day national sensitization workshop in Abuja with the theme, the role of education stakeholders in tackling examination malpractice in Nigeria. Let's hear the details from Olainka Ojo.
A. Number 2, B. Examination malpractice in schools has become a recurring decimal. It has the tendency of discouraging hard work among serious students, lowers educational standards, discredits certificates, leading to the production of half-baked graduates. And above all, this practice is affecting the manpower needs of the nation. This meeting, organized by the National Examinations Council, NECO, is expected to squarely address this bad practice.
No nation develop when its female population indulge in sharp practices such as examination malpractice.
Findings have also revealed that some school authorities are involved in this, while parents aid and abet examination malpractices without knowing they are destroying the future of their children.
MBA in charge of any aspect should wake up to their responsibility.
Today, schools collect between 50 to 60,000 naira or even more for candidates who want to register for WAEC or NECO.
For WAEC, the exam, since everything is 18,000, what is the balance? The Air Force and other stations are fully with NECO in this fight.
A document that will fashion out better ways of addressing this menace in the education sector is expected at the end of the meeting. Olainka Ojo, NTA News.
With the high number of operators, women are getting a thumbs up as major contributors, first when it comes to business, micro business sector and the nation's GDP. Now, this was at a micro, small and medium youth expo in Abuja, which seeks to promote inclusiveness in the financial sector that will allow women to contribute large-scale change and a fundamental shift in the business and financial landscape across Africa. Bossadi Abel reports.
The Central Bank of Nigeria ascribed 60% of the 220 billion micro, small and medium enterprises development fund to women, which translates to women taking up more than 60% of the fund. To this end, women under the umbrella of New Faces, New Voices are advocating pushing the frontier by making the difference in the 21st century marketplace.
We stand with you in your efforts to see that the new faces and the voices of Nigerian women come to the fore.
The pace of our economic recovery is hinged on a viable MSME sector. Therefore, we must act now.
Being the fourth edition for youth, speakers emphasized the need for creating an enabling environment for businesses to thrive, encouraging investment as well as women empowerment at all levels.
We've achieved so much. We started from the grassroots women, give them the space to explore their full potential as young entrepreneurs for the youth wing.
A lot of women feel are being held back by mindset, culture and religion, but all that is changing because there is a way you can still do your business and maintain your integrity and self-respect.
We are still planning on organizing such kind of events to the grassroots level.
This initiative is a platform to deepen financial inclusion of women on the continent and enhance the performance of women in the business sector. In Abuja, Bossadi Abel, NTA News.
Wife of the PDP presidential candidate Amina Atiku says more women and girls in Nigeria will leverage the advantage of her foundation, the Wycliffe, to achieve their full potential. She urged Nigerians to vote her husband, Atiku Abubakar, into office to fast-track the process. This was at a book launch in Abuja on challenges of rape in Nigeria, authored by Usman Alhaji Lawan. Let's hear from Salwal Khalil Ibrahim.
A portrayal there by parents of a 3-year-old who was raped by their 70-year-old neighbor. The experience is better imagined. The challenges and solution of what is described as a cankerworm in the contemporary society is contained in a book, Rape Challenges in Nigeria, which is also translated in Hausa language.
This book should make its way into each and every single one of us' hands in this room, because it will help us in redirecting and reshaping the futures of you, the young ones.
As young girls with the great dreams of becoming doctors, lawyers, engineers, have seen their dreams being scattered and taken over by some rivals. We cannot provide a single figure of such cases. So I'm happy today, by launching this book today, we set a milestone to that.
Rape. Even you see fathers raping their daughters, we won't allow that to continue and continue. So every person will have to put in his or her effort to make sure that this cankerworm is stopped.
The book is dedicated to the wife of PDP presidential candidate TT Atiku Abubakar in recognition of her effort as an advocate against human trafficking for over 2 decades. The book is a campaign guide against rape and rapists and will be distributed free of charge. Salwa Khalil, NTA News.
Full domestication of the Child Rights Act by human rights activists say remains the only solution to providing children in Nigeria with the necessary legal framework to seek justice when their rights are denied. Elizabeth Omori reports that this was at the message when there was during a party, 2022 end of the year party for orphans by the Global Initiative for Peace, Love and Care.
It's that time of the year when so much activities rent the air to put smiles on faces, and these orphans and widows are already having a feel of the colors of the season. More than 2,000 orphans with different challenging stories converged to unwind, but Ali from Chibok, who was run over by a Boko Haram biker at the age of 2, caught our attention.
I want the government to protect Chibok.
Just like Ali, who is now a young man, they are determined to make the best out of their situations.
To become a good country and a safe country.
Nuhu Kwajafa, convener of the show, advocates protection of the Nigerian child and qualitative education for them at all levels.
They are particularly interested more in children welfare because they are the future of tomorrow. And if we don't give them the best and for them to know about patriotism, to know about nationwide and the rest, I mean, the next generation is going to be in problem. So every year we decide to have this kind of event to bring them all together with other children from privileged homes, so that those from privileged homes will appreciate life.
The event featured dance competition as well as other events. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
The Commandant General of the National Peace Corps, Chinedu Ineji, has commended the 9th National Assembly for the passage of the establishment of the Peace Corps bill. He, however, appealed to the President to assent to it, as the bill comes with enormous benefits to the country.
Recall that bill was rejected by Mr. President in the 8th Assembly, and after the rejection, Mr. President gave some reasons for the rejection, and eventually the bill came back to National Assembly in the 9th Assembly. And then, in the wisdom of both the Senate and the House of Reps, the bill was successfully passed recently, precisely on the 6th of December 2022. Now that the bill has been passed, we are waiting for Mr. President to grant his assent. The bill will be transmitted to him to grant his assent, and after the assent, it will see Nigerian youths rising up, working for the entire country. The reasons why this bill is very necessary. Number one is that it will create employment for the youths, which is the cardinal objective. When employment is created, youth restiveness will be reduced.
All right, Port Harcourt will be our next stop as we join Gabriel. Gabriel? All right, Port Harcourt will be our next.
In a bid to advance the security architecture and ensure greater enforcement in the Nigerian maritime domain and beyond, the Federal Ministry of Transportation, in collaboration with the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, has released another batch of 94 security personnel specifically trained for combat readiness on land, water, and air. Nkiru Onyejesi reports that the Minister of Transportation, Muazu Jaji Sambo, assured them of federal government support.
The Integrated National Security and Waterways Protection Infrastructure, also known as Deep Blue Project, launched in June 2021 by President Muhammadu Buhari, is to, among other things, enhance effective security at the maritime domain, acquisition of assets to strengthen response capability and training and retraining of special forces. The Minister of Transportation, Muazu Jaji Sambo, is optimistic that the project will be of great benefit to the nation. He commended the graduates for their dedication. He assured them of government's continuous support in the discharge of their duties.
We are talking about a facility, an opportunity, an institution that guarantees our safety, and I can assure you that the money spent on this project is worth every dime.
The Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, Bashiru Jamu, noted that the objective of the Deep Blue Sea project is to secure Nigerian waters up to the Gulf of Guinea and tackle piracy, sea robbery, and other crimes.
This project has come to stay, and we will do our own possible best to build the institution. Once you build the institution, the issue of sustainability is guaranteed. So I assure you that very soon Nigerians will hear very good news about the war risk insurance.
The graduation of this 94 today, we are hoping that they will be deployed in Barbados and Bonny waters.
The technical session featured long-range operational demonstration, physical combat demonstration, exhibition of deep blue assets, and presentation of certificates to the graduates. In Port Harcourt, Nkironye Jesse, NTA News. And that's all from Port Harcourt. Ogachukwu now takes over from Benin after this break. Please stay with us. Wife of Edo State Governor Betsy Obaseki wants more support from relevant stakeholders to strengthen protection mechanism to prevent and eliminate violence, intimidation, and discrimination against women. She spoke at a workshop to mark this year's 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. Elizabeth Omoko has details.
1 in every 5 women still face sexual or physical violence, and the culture of silence has posed a serious challenge to the fight against gender-based violence in the society. These 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, an annual international campaign that kicks off November 25 with the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, runs till 10 December with Human Rights Day. Here in Edo State, where various programs and policies of government have been institutionalized against gender-based violence, Betsy Obaseki is reaffirming the committee's vow to punish anyone that solicits pardon for suspects or tries withdrawing any case of gender-based violence.
If you come back and say we don't want to do the case anymore, let us start saying they are begging. We say to you that this crime is not against you. It isn't even against the child. It is against the state.
For the Deputy Governor, Phyllis Shaibu, cultural influence is capable of making victims not to report cases of gender-based violence. It seeks the attention of traditional rulers.
It's not to take your powers as traditional rulers or take your powers as man. No, but when we say gender, it's both men and women. This is where we have a part to play. Only by working together and contributing each individual's potentials and ideas, experience and commitment.
The theme for the Edo State 16 Days of Activism Stakeholders Workshop is beyond 16 days of activism, 365 days of activism against gender-based violence. In Benin, Elizabeth Amoko, NTA News.
And talking agriculture now, agricultural experts are advocating the revamping of the sector to ensure consistent, sustainable growth. This is coming from Akure, Ondo State, at a 2-day symposium on entrenching proper structure for sustainable agricultural development. Doris Olumoko reports.
These agricultural key players are here to share ideas on entrenching proper structure for sustainable agribusiness development, an initiative of the Ondo State Agricultural Commodities, a non-profit association.
As of today, we have committed almost 80,000 hectares of classified land to oil palm cultivation in the state.
They noted that the development of agriculture no doubt will positively impact other sectors of the economy.
Women, we are good managers. Women, we are preservers. Women, we are multipliers. Women, we have resilience. We have empathy. So if we bring these things into the area of agriculture, it can actually help to transform our economy.
Participants say if road network and agricultural settlements are massively opened up and developed, youth interest in the sector will receive a boost. In Akure, Doris Olumoko, NTA News.
You're still watching Nationwide News today. We rejoin Ruth in Abuja for the rest of the news.
Thank you, Ogochukwu. Following the unprecedented flood incidents in parts of the country during this year's rainy season, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has forwarded huge relief items to the victims and communities which were affected by the natural disaster in Cross River State. Oba Hyacinth reports.
In badges, assorted food and non-food items arrived in homes of once lamenting flood victims. Tears give way to joy, smiles and laughter palpable on their faces, thanks to the federal government through the Cross River State Emergency Management Agency. Promises made, promise kept. Yes. The Director General, Cross River State Emergency Management Agency, Prince William, leads the team to deliver the relief materials to the flood victims. This is not all, more are coming, Anyim told the elated victims.
I came in here to do an official flag off of what the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, gave to support people in the condition we faced during the flood.
Their joy is limitless. The only offering from the flood victim to the federal government and state government was bundle of appreciation.
We have been ravaged with flood several years, but we have never seen the kind of love and supply of relief. So we want to thank you.
NTA on several occasions reported the devastating impact of the floods on the farming communities in Cross River State, and this gesture is in response to the series of commentaries, and the people appreciate NTA for fronting their plight during the most trying moment. Oba Hyacinth, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated the Moroccan World Cup team, the Atlas Lions, and the ruler of the country, King Mohammed VI, on making history by becoming the fourth team